Number 10, 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. Total produced 859 units. Ford created the Boss 429 to meet NASCAR engine regulations. This was not just a marketing move. The 429 cubic inch engine was huge, powerful, and race-ready. To fit it into the Mustang body, Ford had to modify the front end, making the car unique in its design and layout. The engine produced immense power, although Ford understated its capabilities for insurance purposes. Collectors admire the Boss 429 for its technical origins and performance. Built by Carcraft, a Ford partner, these cars were essentially hand-assembled with special attention to performance details. With limited production, only 859 Boss 429 were made in 1969, making it one of the most sought-after Mustangs in history. Number 9, 1969 Ford Torino Talladega. Total produced 754 units. The Ford Torino was produced from 1968 to 1976, but the Talladega model was only made for 1 year and represented the peak of Ford's early production efforts. Ford produced the car for only a few weeks in early 1969, naming it after the now iconic Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. It was built specifically to meet approval rules in the late 1960s, requiring the production of 500 units to meet NASCAR standards. The two-door Torino Talladega featured an improved front end and a modified body to improve aerodynamics, with reshaped front spoilers to increase airflow to the engine bay. Ford also updated the door sills to lower the car's height, allowing it to achieve higher top speeds while still complying with NASCAR regulations. Compared to the regular Torino of that time, the Talladega had upgraded oil coolers, heavier-duty shock absorbers, and a more powerful automatic transmission with column shift capabilities. In total, only 754 Talladega units were produced, but 4 of them have disappeared from the online registry that tracks known cars. While the exact number is unknown, Ford is said to have lost thousands of dollars on each Torino Talladega sold, and today, these cars fetch a significant price on the collector's market. Number 8, 1968 Mercury Cougar GTE. Total produced 394 units. Ford introduced the Mercury Cougar for the 1967 model year and boosted its potential with the GTE model the following year. Based on the Ford Mustang but offering more luxury and style, the Cougar was a somewhat overlooked vehicle, and the GTE variant took it to a whole new level of performance. Only 394 Cougar GTE units were produced, with some using the 427 V8 engine and others the 428 V8 engine. With the 428 cubic inch V8 producing 335 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque, the car could accelerate from 0-60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds. Meanwhile, the 427 cubic inch V8 option produced 390 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. Number 7, 1969 Mercury Cyclone GTCJ Drag Pack. Total produced 358 units. Ford's Mercury division created its own version of the Fairlane, the Cyclone, in the late 1960s, and the GT variant became the pinnacle of the line in 1968 and 1969. The expensive Cyclone GT at the time was equipped with the Cobra Jet V8 428 cubic inch engine, producing 335 horsepower, and some configurations came with the spoiler package, which brought NASCAR-inspired updates to the car. A fiberglass hood and a 3-speed automatic transmission completed the impressive performance specs of the car. However, the rarest version was the drag pack option, with only 358 units produced. This variant had Super Cobra Jet upgrades for the engine, including an oil cooler, an external balance assembly, and Le Mans-style connecting rods. Officially, the car produced 335 horsepower, but the actual output was easily closer to 400 horsepower. Despite its extreme performance at the time, the Cyclone GT was overshadowed by the Mustang and other muscle cars of its era. The GT version continued into the 1970s when fuel efficiency regulations stifled Ford's engine options and performance capabilities for the car. Number 6, 1963 Ford Galaxy 500 lightweight. Total produced, 212 units. The 1963 Ford Galaxy 500 lightweight is the epitome of the golden era of American drag racing. Ford created the Galaxy 500 lightweight to dominate the NHRA superstock drag racing class by focusing on weight reduction and raw power. The heart of the Galaxy 500 lightweight is its high-performance 427 cubic inch V8 engine, producing an impressive 425 horsepower. This engine was built for high speeds, with high-flow cylinder heads, a solid lift camshaft, and a dual 4-barrel carburetor. Combined with a 4-speed manual transmission, the car could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds, a remarkable feat at the time. To achieve its lightweight status, Ford removed unnecessary components from the Galaxy. Aluminum was used for the bumpers, hood, and fenders, while fiberglass replaced the trunk lid. Interior amenities were stripped away in favor of speed, with features like soundproofing, heating, and radios removed. These changes resulted in a car that was approximately 425 pounds lighter than the standard Galaxy. Only 212 units were produced. Number 5. 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. Total produced, 100 units. The 1964 Ford Thunderbolt is praised for its raw power and racing heritage. Built specifically for drag racing, this was a limited production car with only 100 units made. The appeal of the Thunderbolt lies in its engineering and performance. Under the hood, it featured a 427 cubic inch V8 engine capable of producing an impressive 425 horsepower. This powerful car was paired with either a 4-speed manual transmission or a 3-speed automatic, enabling the Thunderbolt to achieve a quarter-mile time in the 11-second range. To maximize performance, Ford made several weight reduction changes, including a fiberglass hood and bumpers, plexiglass windows, and the removal of unnecessary interior features. These modifications, combined with the car's aggressive styling, made the Thunderbolt a formidable force on the drag strip. Number 4. 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 R-Code. Total produced, 57 units. In 1965, the Fairlane lineup was successful but lacked a high-performance model to compete with GM and Chrysler's top offerings. This changed midway through the 1966 model year with the introduction of the R-Code option. Previously, the Fairlane's most powerful engine was the 390 cubic inch Thunderbird, which produced 320 horsepower but struggled to compete with the Mopar Elephant engines. The R-Code replaced it with the legendary 427 cubic inch side oiler engine featuring upgrades like forged pistons, high-flow heads, a hot cam, and a dual 4-barrel carburetor. It produced 425 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, sent to the rear wheels via a 4-speed manual transmission. Available only on the Fairlane 500, the R-Code 427 competed with the Hemi. With its unique fiberglass hood and a tachometer mounted on the dashboard, the R-Code 500 stood out despite its modest exterior. Ford produced only 57 of these high-performance models in 1966. Number 3. 1965 Ford Mustang GT 350R. Total produced, 36 units. The mid-1960s were an exciting time for the automotive industry. Ford had just launched the new Mustang Coupe in 1964, and it achieved great success. However, at that time, the Mustang wasn't considered a true muscle car by today's standards. With modest performance, it was more associated with a secretary's car than anything related to high performance. Due to this, and of course, the competition between Ford and Chevy, Ford had to come up with a solution. That solution was the GT 350R program, tasked with creating a Mustang that could compete with Corvettes in SCCA racing. The ultimate result of the GT 350R program was a pair of prototypes based on the new Mustang, albeit with some significant changes. The interior was stripped of unnecessary features. Lightweight metals replaced the rear quarter windows, and all remaining glass was substituted with acrylic panels. The second prototype weighed just 2,550 pounds and could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 5.5 seconds, while completing the quarter mile in around 13.6 seconds. Extreme figures for that era. Only 36 cars were made, including the 2 prototypes. Number 2. 1965 Ford Mustang Ferguson 4-wheel drive. Total produced, 3 units. Before the electric Mustang Mach-E appeared, the idea of a 4-wheel drive Ford Mustang seemed nearly impossible. However, such a car was introduced almost immediately after the original Mustang's debut. While Ford was looking to make the Mustang even more popular, which it was already doing, the British company Ferguson Research developed the first 4-wheel drive system for passenger cars. Naturally, they wanted to sell their design, which would later appear in the Jensen FF, the all-wheel drive version of the Interceptor. A deal was struck and Ford shipped 2 1965 Mustangs with the 289 V8 engine to England, where they were fitted with the fixed AWYD system that transferred 63% of the torque to the rear wheels. While this system was impressive, Ford's engineers calculated that it added too much complexity and would make the car too expensive. Number 1. 1967 Shelby Mustang GT 500 Super Snake. Total produced, 1 unit. In 1967, the special Shelby Mustang GT 500 was created as part of Goodyear's program to promote a new line of tires. Carroll Shelby created a sensation by installing the 427 cubic inch V8 engine from the Ford GT40 Mark II race car, along with upgraded transmission and rear-end components. The Super Snake could reach a top speed of 170 miles per hour, which was an impressive benchmark for that era. Initially, Shelby intended to produce 50 units, but the project was shelved when Ford learned that the cost to build it was double that of a regular GT 500. And only the prototype was made. Unfortunately, the 1967 Shelby Mustang GT 500 Super Snake was never tested or reviewed by the automotive press. This means there are no truly reliable sources regarding its specifications or performance, but the likelihood is that it was incredibly fast. One thing that is certain is that anyone who purchased this rare Mustang would not have taken it to the races. This unique car was recently restored and auctioned for $2.2 million in 2019. It is the most valuable Mustang ever built. Good luck if you're looking to buy it in the future, as this is the rarest muscle car of all time.